Hi, welcome to another video. In this video, we are talking about ALGS gameplay, individual decision making, how can we extract maximum value out of our decisions, and so on. On this channel, we have been talking about that, and I was pretty nervous before making this video because I didn't feel qualified enough. But I think it is important for me to get the practice and to share my perspective and to get feedback, right? So I did not notice this post until today's morning, and then I probably watched this entire. I probably watched like 2 minutes, and it was pretty odd to me, right? Why? Because we are trying to solve the game from hindsight. We're trying to solve the game with what happened. We know what happened, and we're trying to solve it in the reverse. And if there's one thing I hate the most, doing VOD reviews backwards is something I hate the most, right? I've done it. It is frustrating. It does not help anyone improve. It makes you feel better. Okay, again, now since it's a gaming community, this person, Balv, is a coach. He's done amazing contributions to the RFI community, to Tier 2 community. I've interacted with people who have been coached by this person. So anything that I say is not against this person. I highly doubt if we can differentiate between the nuances of attacking someone's approach or opinions or techniques from actually attacking the person. Okay, so one thing that did not sit right with me, this entire stuff was done in hindsight, and they did not include context of any of the players, right? So that was one thing that kind of threw me off. But there was another thing that threw me off. The solutions. Okay, before we even listen to Hakis, right?
Rotation style is incredibly slow, and they already don't have
Let's watch
which
this.
they can lean into. But what happens is that they are late to these rotations, and therefore they don't have a
Wait. Let me actually see it from the first one, okay?
into difficult positions for their legend compositions, and they make their games
It does feel like listening to an ASMR
10
audio.
times more difficult than they need to. Out of the 9 games, we're going to take a look at 3 of them for this specific takeaway. So game 1, they land at North Pad, and then they rotate down.
No. If you're going to do it in hindsight, we do it hindsight fully, right? Game 1, we land in North Pad. Where's the end zone? All the way south. All the way south. Okay, this is important, okay? If you are a Falcons fan, if you watch Imperial Hall, if you participate in a Twitch chat, if you watch Nice Week, you are landing on the northernmost tip, right? And this zone, the only POI that is more southern than this zone is fucking coastal camp, right? So, eyes closed. What is the game plan? Rush to purple, play for ring 3. Eyes closed, bro. Eyes closed. You wake up anyone from their sleep who is serious about playing this game competitively. Go to game plan, rush to purple, play for ring 3, right? You don't even like these people, the moment they land, they see the ring, they hit ring console, they know that, oh, we're maximizing our resources. We may or may not get to play for round 3, right? That is probably what they're thinking. But we never have that conversation at all. And it almost feels like we are picking up on Alliance, right? If let's say Falcons had a terrible finals day, right? They had a terrible finals day. We placed like top 8, top 10, right? Can you imagine calling out Hull for not being in a guard spot in a power position in round 2? If you work for him, he's gonna get you fired, bro. How on earth are we talking about the northernmost POI with the southernmost ring and we're stressing about power positions? It should not even be. You can't even tell me that phrase in the same game plan, bro. Okay, so that is one thing. The other alternatives, right?
Down beast, mill, and they go scan to scan. However, this scan to scan rotation style is incredibly slow, and
Okay. Okay. I actually don't know how Hakis had a poker face.
And they
Um,
already don't have prio, which they can lean into. But what happens is that they are late to these rotations, and therefore
okay. So the game is two halves, right? The game is two halves. The way I see it, the game is two halves. It is not one long game. I see it as 4, 5, 6. If it's 6 rings, bro, mathematically, you divide it into three, right? Right? Mathematically. Now, by duration, round three is when teams are forced to move. You take initial spots, and then round three pull. Round three is the ring which can pull away, right? Round three is the ring where people operate on these two ring information. So for first two rings, people are going to be static, right? Makes sense. When they see round two close and round three pull away from them, now teams have to move. And teams that are in zone, they are primed to defend their spaces, right? So this is when options open. So if you're playing Edge, we are targeting this window, right? We need to talk about this, bro. And this alternative game plan. Like, why are we talking about an alternative game plan?
they don't have a lot of options for rotating into a power position. However, they have a couple options here. I think their man scan doesn't allow them to get information for the bridge, which was
Okay.
definitely
Okay.
an option.
This is what tells me we are seeing the game from just this POV, right? This pissing me off. I am sorry, this is pissing me off. It is nothing against this person. It's nothing.
For them to rotate into. They could also start working this team early, knowing that
We can't work. Okay, we can't work this team. We cannot work this team. How can you work this team? How can you work this team? Okay. Where's my okay? This is my. How can you work this team? We have two options, right? We have two options. Now, if they have bridge control, this is just an uphill battle. You have to give comeback after comeback and hope this team is brain dead to start working and not even don't even get me started. The potential of us getting pinched, it is a lot higher from this routing, right? The routing, the talk about the routing, the pathing is a lot harder, bro. The potential of just getting pinched. If all the team needs to do is, there's some gunshots. Let's go beam, right? You sit on this building, you get to shoot Alliance in the back. You sit on this fucking bridge, you shoot Alliance in the back. You neg rotate for whatever reason, right? You shoot Alliance in the back. Alliance do not want to be in the space, so that is not an option. We can't work them from this option. Now, what about this option? Well, this is a space NIP. NIP, like this is in the previous video I talked about, we do not want to be where right angles are touching, right? This is, you have very little space and a very long cross to make. So both these options do not exist. So when you tell me, hey, one of the things that we can do is work these teams round two, it's just incredibly, I don't know. It feels like saying it for the sake of saying it, right? Anyways,
nobody is around them. But again, I think they've already made their game very difficult by rotating here very, very.
my hot takes, they're actually early. They're actually early. If they rotated even later, they would have been able to execute the said game plan, right? And I will prove it to you. I will defend my opinion, my take.
Late doing a scan to scan rotation. In finals, you usually want to think about what is the minimal effective.
Again, nothing against the person, nothing against them. I'm not attacking them, but we're just saying things for the sake of saying now. And this is why I was nervous, bro. I tried my best to not lose it, and I still did it.
Even if we rotate early, we're gonna be latest in anyway. It doesn't matter if we leave in 30 seconds. We are stuck on edge no matter what. Zone is too far away. You can't make it. And then
And-
when you can't make it,
And this is also something we're gonna be in year 6, and we're still defending Hakis. Hakis is the top 3 IGL. Hakis is the top 2 IGL on his best day, bro. He might be the best IGL when things align, right? And he is still defending a fucking playstyle that has been existing throughout time, throughout game. How are we making this person spend their time and effort to defend their playstyle? It's actually infuriating.
of course you go for purple armor and zone 3, because then you have purple armor, you have
I'm so sorry, Hakis. Oh my
and
god.
just end up takes out the information which he says we don't need. UV in bean, right? Rotate whenever you want to play. Lightning rod, they don't have a fucking Valk or an altar or anything. They have to fight their way through Barometer.
Okay, this is okay. One thing that I disagree with Hakis' take. It was incredibly biased against Genji. Okay, it was Genji is not a smart team with macro. They're not a smart team with rotates. But every team has restriction to information, right? So we will investigate. Okay. So what happens is we'll play it from all 3 teams: Hot Tub Mafia, Genji, and Alliance, right? So we arrive here, we give the game plan. He hits the UAV.
Alright, I'm trying to think. Almost everything is taken. We need to play our edge here. We need to Valk with the nade from this corner.
You can't play this? Do you think you can't play this? Like the
No,
thingy in there?
we're gonna probably get into it early.
Yeah, we
like
went to
Coffee
Pandas.
That is the spot, right? That is the spot we talked about. If we play here to work this team, we are going to get inted. Hakis is clear about it. He knows about it. So it's a very, very smart call, right? We can't play here. Yeah, we'll get inted, right? Now, what I would like to see, we will discuss it towards the end. I think what I want to address is how can we execute this specific game plan a lot better? Are there any seconds that we can shave off? Can we be any more efficient with our space control? Like, how can we play this edge a little better? Because remember, I told you my take is we are a lot early. We're too early. We have almost 90 seconds. We have 90 seconds. We need to be very, very active on defending this edge, on making sure our back is clear, right? And you see how you remember how I divided the game, like in the middle. Sometimes the third zone, the pullback might not be crazy, so your spots might not be open. If spots are not open, we'll have to target round 4. So if the spots are not open, we still need Utah, right? So why did I even bring that up? Oh, there's a possibility where we might have to play for round 3 close as well.
Yeah, we can play setup with gas here, and then when Soda's close, we're gonna go ramp here, and then we're back with them from the corner, okay?
They all pulled away. Alright.
Yeah, gas here.
So I think over here, right? Over here, Unlucky is running, chasing this vehicle, right? They had the right idea on how to play this, bro. We just fucked up the execution, okay? That is what I'm gonna say. So the zone is cutting our tunnel like that, right? Somewhat like that. So how do you defend this spot, bro? How do you defend this, right? I was teaching macro to someone early, and I told them, hey, start seeing the map in quadrants, start seeing the ring in quadrants, start seeing the POI in quadrants, right? So this would be the quadrant. So this potion falls under this quadrant. So there's these 2 choke options from where teams can come from, right? The only way we die, we 3-man play the tunnel, and we get pinched from both the sides. That is the only way we die for playing this space. And Alliance was not trying to do this. You gotta remember that. Alliance were trying to split hold. They were trying to split hold the choke and set up the tunnel, right? it was just a floppy execution. It was just a sloppy execution. We wasted like 10 to 15 seconds, but like the ideal setup would be trap up the tunnel, sit on top of the building or sit on top of this building and defend the chokes, right? Why? Because that way we have, let's go back. This is my POV. So that way, we have to remember that this is downhill, right? The tunnel isn't downhill. This space is kind of a little bit of high ground. If a team comes and takes here, they are gonna shovel. They're gonna shove us and funnel us into the tunnel. So we don't want a team to take this space. That is why Effect and Unlucky drive to this, right? They drive to this. They understand this. We can't let anyone take this space away from us. But also, remember, the game is about options, right? If you go here, you get to see all of this, bro. You get to see all of that, right? And if your teammate is watching the back, you get to watch that. Like, you can shoot, like Effect and Alliance, give them G7 triple take, they can stop you mid-rotate. And now you're gonna rotate around, right? So now you're retaining your option of Valk ulting, and you're denying, the setup is gonna deny others' rotations who are later, right? So theoretically, it works. So practically, they waste like 10 seconds over here. And I think this is what fucks them up.
Sir.
Putting car here.
Yep.
Yeah, let me play car. I'm gonna play back a bit more.
Unlucky dropping presence. Like the setup should have been Hakis and Unlucky, or like Effect setting up the tunnel. Unlucky and Hakis playing to defend the backside of cenote. I think with that setup, we kill Genji. Nothing against Gen Z. We spot them early and we force them out, right? We will be much ready, and we get to play this entire. We have more space control. Like they will have to, like we just. One of the bigger advantages for rotating early, like we are early to the spot, is you get to dictate what happens to a team on their rotate, right? So I think that is the only flaw.
Drive inside. Yeah, I'm him. I get him.
So we here, we take the car.
Gonna farm my 17 damage quick. Guys, come me.
Come.
Get it.
But for their setup, bro, like they didn't have the ideal setup, but for the current setup, they did everything they can. They did everything they can to deal with this, right? Now let's talk about why did Genji come this way, right? Why did Genji come this way? And we have to go all the way back a little bit. So I want you to pay attention to Hot Talk Mafia. Okay, so Alliance, they hit Bean UAV and they hear shots between Unlimited and VP. They go towards it and Unlimited disengages. Okay, Unlimited is a better edge team than Genji. Unlimited can disengage. They are a little smarter and on their macro, right? So we see that Genji hits the beacon over here, and on the rotate, bro, they kind of run into, okay, they see Hot Talk Mafia, like Albruleli tweaking out 200 meters away because he's playing Alter. They see this and they see a team next to them, Valk ulti, and they assume it is two different teams. Okay, like I can show you. So we are over here. So this Valkyrie ulti is what we are going to see from. Is what we're going to be seeing from Al's POV.
This team's gotta walk into their trench.
Right? He hits this bean UAV. So Alb is the only person who has context and UAV on all three teams. Right? The other teams are going off of audio info, going off of reads, right? Genji is shooting Volker reality.
ไป
They didn't get to pay attention to how many people were on the building.
ที่หนึ่งที่หนึ่งอ๋อเข้าที่หมดได้ปะ
So they're like, I think that is, we don't want to make our rotate difficult, right? So it logically makes sense for them to go to cenote cave,
ที่หมดมีที่หนึ่งนะไปที่หมดไหม
มีสแกน
เดี๋ยวเอาที่หนึ่งก่อนละ
ได้
right?
ถึงถึง
กูรถเอามานะ
รับ
And they go to the far side choke, so Alliance don't hear them.
กูนั่งมันจะไปที่หนได้เอ้ยมันขับรถมารถให้แค่ตัวเดียวสาม
2
Genji gets information on Alliance, like all the way from 200 meters, bro. Right? So Genji knows Alliance is here. They know what they're doing.
3อ่ะ
They're gonna get some confirmation with the beacon, right?
จะไฟไม่ได้เปิด
กูเห็น2คนนะไอ้เพื่อนมันอยู่บีนมัน
กูเห็นคนเดียวอ่ะ
He gets to see all of this. He gets to see the guy dropping one guy off, taking the car away, and then, right?
สองคน
He's seeing that the whole time. They are split, guys. Right? The setup is weak. They are split. So the very first wave of aggression, the very first attempt, makes logical sense. Why wouldn't you want to punish that? Right?
มึงงั้นเราไฟได้ปะนี่ตัวเดียวเหรอบ้านกลมเฮ้ยกูว่าเราบีบถ้ำมันได้นะเว้ยเดี๋ยวบ้านกลมต้องมาเติร์นมันอ่ะลองดูปะใช่แล้วก็อย่าลืมนะบ้านกลมเป็นอาเติร์นนะ
โอเคเฮ้ยนี่เชีย
ลงแก๊สรอคิวมาเป็น5 วิรอ
Now,
เล่นได้เลย
this team is pretty weak at reading body languages, right? They just ain't people. They ain't people.
เดี๋ยวอยู่
So, you're over here, that triple take shot over here, and your team's being split, your teammates being split, and we're getting stalled out. Like, that is a sign of a good team, bro. The Bean team, if you stay here any longer, are you not afraid that, like, let's say Genji's read was there's a team in Bean, right? Are you not afraid that you're going to get pinched? So they're operating off of fear. They want to get done with the fights quicker, right? The logic keeps breaking, right? It keeps breaking because they're not showing
เดี๋ยวพี่ค่อยยิงพี่ตอนนี้ผมมี
like a consistency, right?
5 วิเปิดเอาคิวมาได้ปะเปิดเอาไม่กูมาเปิดมีสโมกอยู่ใช่ปะ
มีอยู่เดี๋ยวกูพังเนี่ยเอ้ยเบ็ดแล้วติดแก๊สมาก่อนไหมวิ่ง
ใช่เป็นโทษทีแก๊สได้เปิดตัวให้
So he's like over here, but what are we doing with the
ต้องเหมือนจะดันนะ
crypto?
กูแผ่นเดียวตอนนี้
All of this is stalling, bro.
มันฝั่งไม่มาใช่ปะ
And you see the way they're like,
ว่าโดนไปดูฝั่งซ้าย
Genji's gonna tweak out.
กูขอเสียสมองอีกลูก
Now he's scouting here. He gets info that, hey, this side is free, guys. We still have options. And the very first attempt of aggression made sense, but the second and third attempts did not make sense to me. Okay? Now that I can agree with Hakis. But calling Genji completely brain dead for everything they do, I don't agree with that, right?
ลูกหนึ่งคนนึง
เฮ้ยกูว่าโดนเราได้นะ
Like you have tried it. You have both tried it. Okay. The sun might start rising in the west before Genji learns Makra. That is like the reality, bro.
ใช่เหรอ
And then I've really sensed them in the back. We never get to fin him because he takes the fucking portal. Right? He goes here.
just
I'm gonna
died.
look for this, bro. Can you still on TP please?
Yep.
Albrady is able to play this ballsy because he has more context. He has information and context.
Going right now.
So he's able to, do a little bit extra. Incredible awareness from Alliance, bro. They die. They can't get the fin on the guy. They can't aggress on Hot Dog Mafia. So yeah, that sucks. So we had to play like the way I see Hal playing the game is the only way we die is if someone takes the spot. If someone takes the spot and shove us downhill and trap us in tunnel, right? As long as we deal with these things, we are fine. And my opinion on Alliance is they're a very good team. They still are a very good team. They're still a very good fighting team. I do not think their defense or the ability to reset is that high, right? They rotate and they're fighting, they're scouting. I think they are all S tier. But in terms of defense, in terms of pulling off full resets, I don't think they are like a top 3 or top 5 team, right? So what do I mean by defense? By defense, I mean, like, let's say you move into valuable space, right? You move into valuable space and teams around you are going to try to bully you, right? People are going to util dump you. People are going to try and portal, take an off angle against you. And I think Falcons are a lot better at surviving multiple waves of aggression. Like, they're able to maintain that coordination in terms of their little space control. And I don't think Alliance has that. And I think that is the only flaw that I've seen. We can talk about it in detail. But I think that is the only thing that is holding them back. I don't think it's the edge gameplay. I don't think it's bad rotates or bad philosophy. I just think space control with a lot more coordination.